Hello everyone, and welcome to my Young and Restless official. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. According to spoilers for The Young and the Restless, Martin Laurent, also known as Alan Laurent, and Tracy Abbott's escape may conflict with Sharon and Nick Newman's trip to Europe. Nick will encourage Sharon to take Faith Newman to see Noah Newman in Europe during the week of March 17th to 21st. As long as Nick shows up, Sharon will determine she's on board with that notion. Nick might be in Europe with Sharon at the same time as Alan and Tracy if he accepts. Under the pretense of touring several locations for their wedding, Alan will attempt to persuade Tracy to take a plane to Paris with him. In actuality, Martin might simply wish to escape Genoa City's impending drama. Martin will be extremely driven to remove Tracy from GC as quickly as possible if he worries that he will be arrested and that the twin switch will be discovered. Chance Chancellor will probably start figuring out this puzzle after seeing Alan on some surveillance tape. Chance may even hurry to prevent Alan and Tracy from boarding an aircraft, but it may be too late by then. If Sharon, Nick, Alan, and Tracy all wind up in Europe, YNR may tell the next part of this tale there. It's possible that Nick and Sharon will run across Tracy and Alan in Paris, or perhaps another place. If Alan is worried that the police would follow them back to the location where their romance began, he might persuade Tracy to go somewhere else. In any case, it's intriguing that Sharon and Nick would be planning a vacation to Europe at this time, when Tracy and Alan might be preparing for their own. It's simple to envision a soap opera scenario in which these journeys intersect. Nick and Sharon might make some scary predictions about Tracy's future after Chance calls with updates on some unsettling Alan news. Will Tracy need to be rescued by Sharon and Nick? When Nick and Sharon discover that Alan is actually Martin, the one responsible for the kidnapping game, will there be a major confrontation? According to teasers for The Young and the Restless, there will be more Martin mayhem, so be sure to tune in. When Victor came into her Newman media office and started going through the drawers on her desk, Nikki asked him a question. "I'm looking for a pen so I can write down some information," Victor said. In reality, Victor was looking for locations where she may have hidden vodka, which is why Nikki was upset. Victor was reassured by Nikki that her condition was improving daily. Victor invited Nikki to lunch, but he made it clear that he wasn't using their time together to monitor her. Nikki acknowledged that she missed having Claire as her amazing helper and claimed she would need to monitor her hectic schedule. "They may find someone even better," Victor said. In response, Nikki said, "Hopefully someone who is not out to kill me." Victor informed Nikki that he had scheduled a meeting with Nick and Adam and that he thought he had come up with a plan to convince both of his sons to follow his wishes. Following Victor's departure, Nikki shut the door to her office, exhaled a sigh of relief, and took out a tiny flask that was concealed in the rear of a desk drawer. After unscrewing the flask's cover, Nikki quickly put it back on and put the flask back in the drawer. When Nikki called her sponsor for Alcoholics Anonymous, she confessed that she was struggling. Ashley was preoccupied with something she was looking up on her laptop when Jack wished her a good morning at the Abbott residence. Ashley confided in Jack that she was positive Tucker had hired his PR department to craft a reaction to the latest news report about his lies cover-up. Jack reported that he had not found anything on his phone. Kyle came in and said Tucker might decide to launch a secret counterattack instead. The hush could be the quiet before the storm, Jack thought, if Tucker had backed off for a moment. Ashley responded, "The whole world knows by now that Tucker covered up that ugly scandal." Ashley was positive that Tucker's little business, which had a spotless image, had suffered some sort of setback. According to Ashley, the board members of the corporation would insist that Tucker's head on a spike. Jack informed Ashley and Kyle that Tucker needed to seek safety atop a mountain. Kyle disagreed, saying that Tucker was still out for blood following his ugly outburst in Paris. Ashley remembered in a flashback how Tucker had thrown a chair violently, smashed a champagne glass on a table, and screamed fiercely, "Goodbye, Ashley. You're sent to hell." Jack inquired about Ashley's well-being. Ashley acknowledged that she still hadn't fully healed from her altercation with Tucker in Paris. Ashley admitted that Tucker appeared to be oblivious to the reality of what had happened, but she was nonetheless reminded of his fury simply by his presence. Kyle informed Jack that Ashley was experiencing more difficulties than he had anticipated when she left. Jack pointed out that Tucker had completely rocked Ashley, so they should proceed to permanently remove Tucker from their lives. After the Abbotts leaked information about Tucker's scandal, Kyle told Jack that Tucker was no longer sure he wanted to take over Jabot. According to Kyle, he instructed Tucker to get in touch if he chose to move forward with their initial plan to steal details on a fragrance that Jabot intended to release in 2025. Jack gave Kyle instructions to pressure Tucker into making a choice. Tucker received a text message from Kyle asking if he had made up his mind and mentioning that time was running out. Kyle was cautioned by Jack that Tucker was a crafty sociopath. Surprised, Kyle adamantly maintained that he could manage Tucker. Sometimes it was important to change course, Jack said. Kyle pushed on completing his plan so that their family could finally get rid of Tucker. At the athletic club, Audra went up to Tucker and asked him why he hadn't answered her questions regarding his plan. Tucker said he was getting his bearings. Tucker was questioned by Audra, who said he probably felt too ashamed to acknowledge that the Abbotts had taken him off his game. Noting that heads had already turned, Tucker invited Audra to join him for breakfast so he could give her an update. Audra was informed by Tucker that he had not given his team instructions to defend what he called a cover-up of a cover-up. Tucker clarified that he would instead keep quiet and reorganize, pointing out that most individuals had limited attention spans. Audra inquired as to whether Tucker had been fired by his company's board of directors. Tucker said, "Quite the reverse. I'm going to fire them all. I'm not planning on leaving because of a minor setback." According to Tucker, the Abbotts had neither won nor vanquished him. Audra questioned Tucker about his intention to pursue Jabot. But Tucker said, "All in due time." When Kyle volunteered to provide details on Jabot's new product, Audra asked Tucker if he still intended to use it. Tucker claimed he was afraid Kyle might set a trap, therefore he didn't trust him. Kyle had been playing Tucker all along, Audra acknowledged. Audra clarified that she had been tempted to change sides and join Kyle on the winning side when he approached her about it. Audra informed Tucker that she had put too much money into their collaboration to abandon it. Tucker didn't believe Audra was faithful. Audra promised Tucker that she felt a closer connection to Kyle and would always pick him over Kyle, reassuring him that she had not fallen in love with him and never would. Ashley walked into the athletic club and stopped in the foyer to listen to Audra and Tucker have a private conversation. Ashley scowled at Tucker while seated at a table beside a window. Audra caught Tucker looking at Ashley. Tucker informed Audra that during their argument in Paris, Ashley had accused him of using physical force. It sounded like Tucker had made a scene, Audra observed. Tucker denied any violent behavior, saying he had only pushed a chair and knocked over a glass. Tucker acknowledged that Ashley appeared to think her account of the altercation had come to pass. According to Audra, Tucker might be in denial since he wanted to keep his marriage intact. Tucker described a memory in which he had just smashed a glass, pushed a chair, and said, "Goodbye, Ashley," without raising his voice. "Go to hell." Ashley's jaw had dropped in terror. Ashley, on the other side of the room, remembered the altercation in a very different way. She remembered how terrified she had been when Tucker had pressed his face close to hers and screamed his nasty words in rage. Tucker trailed behind Ashley as she hurried out, grabbing her coat as she got close to the door. Ashley sobbed, "Avoid touching me. I'm at a loss for words." Tucker gently responded that he had no idea what was happening and that it seemed like she was running away from him. "Exactly," Ashley said. Tucker questioned Ashley about her fear of being in his presence. In order to get away with it, Ashley told Tucker not to try to gaslight her about their altercation in Paris. Tucker would not accept Ashley's account of what happened. In response, Ashley said, "Well, one of us is wrong, and it's not me." Ashley disappeared without warning. Audra saw Kyle's text message while Tucker was away from the table, putting pressure on him to decide. Adam questioned Nick about the reason for their summons as they waited for Victor to get to Newman Enterprises. Nick admitted that the company was short-staffed after Nate was sacked and Victoria resigned. Adam remembered that Victor wanted his sons to work together. Perhaps he and Adam could collaborate for a while, Nick said, but ultimately Adam would become bored or feel ignored and would, as usual, destroy himself. Adam acknowledged that he would have blown things in the past, but he maintained that he had made a commitment to refrain from self-destruction in 2024. "I don't buy it," Nick said in response. "I apologize." Adam recalled to Nick how they had cooperated effectively with Sharon at SNA, how they had both assisted Sally, and how they had set aside their differences to save Faith. Nick reminded Adam of Adam's ongoing betrayal. Nick remembered that after Sally had favored Nick over Adam, Adam had kept pursuing her. Victor showed in and told Nick and Adam that it was time to start over after a lot of corporate upheaval and attacks on their family. Nick noted that adjustments would be required due to Victoria's leave of absence. Adam stated that he and Nick were prepared to assist. Nick informed his father that he was prepared to assume Victoria's previous role as co-CEO. Adam joked that he hoped he wouldn't have to do Nick's laundry instead. "What's the big plan?" inquired Nick. Then Victor said, "You'll be working as equals under me." Adam and Nick looked at each other suspiciously. "In what capacity?" Adam asked. Victor declared that Nick and Adam would share the role of co-CEO and that neither would be in a position of superiority. Victor stated that he would have the last say if they rejected the terms. Before they even began, Victor expressed his wish that his sons wouldn't be at each other's throats. Adam maintained that he was fully dedicated to seeing it through. "I will try my best to give Adam the benefit of the doubt," Nick retorted. "I sincerely hope he doesn't take any action that would cause me to second-guess that choice." Victor asked his sons to come up with a plan for integrating a new purchase into the Newman organization that already existed. After lunch, Victor promised to go over the presentation again. Nick questioned whether his father had considered his strategy after Adam left. "Your job is to get along with your brother," Victor stated, pointing to Nick. "That's all." Nick assured his father that he would try his hardest to win Victor over. Nick expressed his hope that Adam wouldn't disappoint Victor once more. Victor told his son that neither Adam nor Nick would be allowed to disappoint him. To exchange ideas, Nick and Adam got together at Crimson Lights. Adam proposed branding the new purchase as a boutique store and putting it under the purview of Newman's real estate business. A startup would not be greeted with open arms, Nick insisted. Adam disagreed, saying that the purchase was a novel move. "Interesting word choice," Nick retorted. "I have chosen risky." Adam questioned Nick about why he had bought a business he didn't trust. Nick remembered that Victor had pushed for it, likening their father's choice to buy the business to the way he had demanded his sons collaborate effectively. Adam hinted that he and Nick might not be able to work together. Nick acknowledged that he hadn't made an effort to be impartial or helpful. Nick proposed changing the acquisition's name from Newman E Ventures to Newman Real Ventures. As a boutique setup, Adam suggested that they should provide 2 years of support, which he claimed would be an investment and a sign of their confidence. In keeping with his earlier pledge to buy Adam a brownie to commemorate their mutual agreement on all terms, Nick upheld the rulings. Nikki texted Victor to inform him that she would be meeting him at Society in an hour before she met her sponsor there. When Nikki's sponsor, Seth, showed up, he expressed his gratitude that she had phoned him. Nikki sobbed as she described how she had been having one of those days following the atrocities her family had experienced.